TV.
Man, what it do, y'all? I appreciate y'all for tapping back in to TrapTube TV. It's me again, Tony, 3 times. I got something about to share with y'all, you feel me? And first of all, so in my last video, I already told y'all about, some burglars allegedly broke into GloRilla's house.
Down in Atlanta.
You know what I'm saying? She from Memphis, but she got a crib a little bit further south, you feel me? But, in Georgia. So actually in like Fort Sill County, Georgia. So it's probably like on the outskirts of Atlanta, in the suburbs somewhere. So, she was out of town on the road or something doing some shows, and some burglars broke into her house, and a family member was staying inside her house watching over her house while she was gone, and they started busting that fire, you know what I'm saying, until the intruders were gone, they left, so whoever's staying in GloRilla's house was ready to step, they started fire with that weapon, you feel me? But so the police never did catch them. So the police came and they obtained a warrant to search GloRilla's house, so at this point they weren't even worried about the burglars no more. They was worried about what's going on. They was really supposed to be investigating GloRilla's house. So you got to look at it from the police point of view too. So they was investigating GloRilla's house. You know what I'm saying? Because shots was fired and all that. And they found some controlled substances. Probably some yurts or something, and some marijuana, probably over an ounce, a couple, or maybe a couple of ounces, or maybe a pound or two, You know what I'm saying? About 32 zips, 16 or some shit, But so police found that, so they put a warrant out for GloRilla's arrest. And GloRilla hot about that. I'm about to tell y'all how she responded in a minute. First I'm gonna tell y'all what her lawyer and them said. Her lawyer, she got the Drew Filing dude. I think he was Dirk's lawyer. He probably Kodak Black or NBA Youngboy. He's a lawyer for a lot of celebrities. But her attorneys, Marissa Goldberg and Drew Filing, was like, tell TMZ hip hop. The arrest of Gloria Woods is a disturbing window into how warped law enforcement priorities have become. Miss Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was that she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home was vacant. Findling Law Firm asked when her family members did the right thing and called law enforcement instead of investigating the violent home invasion and theft at Miss Wood's home. They instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana. So they saying it was a small amount. So it probably, just a little bit over an ounce of, And but they also said law enforcement then sought arrest warrants for her, even though she hadn't been at her home for some time. No arrest warrants have been issued for the violent home invaders. Miss Woods is a victim, not a suspect. This is our tax dollars at work. Absolutely unbelievable. So they found some little trees there, and they want to put out a warrant for her, but what GloRilla said in a minute make it seem like they're not even worried about the actual burglars. So yeah, they broke into the house and stole some jewelry and got away. They got up out of there. But this is what GloRilla had to say about it on X, formerly known as Twitter. She was like, crazy. My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focused on some cannabis. So no, I wasn't busted. My house got robbed. I wasn't home. Long story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested. So there's T, and that's how she see it, and that's how a lot of people see it. She wasn't home, but they trying to charge her for some marijuana and some controlled substances, not the person that was there, and also with GloRilla being a superstar, maybe the person that was there would care enough to take the charges. You know what I'm saying? And she already know, whoever was there, she already know that GloRilla pay for the bonds and the lawyers. You know, you would think that would be the case. You know, but maybe whoever it was that was staying there don't see it that way. You know, maybe it is GloRilla's little stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna. She ain't have to do no prison time or nothing. She just gonna have to dish off a little paper, regardless. You know, she's just gonna have some little charges on the record. You know, and to set the record straight, you know, is some shit that she can deal with any day, cause she got plenty paid. You know, she's the biggest artist with CMG. You know, you got Moneybagg Yo in second, then you got GloRilla. You know, Yo Gotti the CEO, but I feel like Moneybagg Yo and GloRilla is bigger. You know, Yo Gotti had enough sense to fall back on the rapping and get on that executive shit. You know, he's standing firm on their business. He getting them big deals and making big meals. You know, he making other people out of Memphis millionaires. You know what I'm saying? So I feel him there. You feel me? But yeah, they pretty much stole some jewelry out of crib, and you know, but GloRilla feels that you know, what the police doing ain't real. You know, they coming there and you know what I'm saying, they want to search and find something and put it on her instead of going after the burglars. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit. But it's just something that, you know, she can just, you know what I'm saying, it's like water under the bridge type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just really, as real as it get. But yeah, man, tomorrow down in Memphis, you know, she got the first annual Glow Bash. You know, usually your boy Yo Gotti do the Yo Gotti birthday bash around this time of year in Memphis. But I think due to the fact that it's like people down there that really want to kill him, and a lot of people are no longer feeling him because of the whole Dolph situation that they're trying to tie him to. You know, he done moved to Dubai and everything, dude. You know, and he got his brother just got killed. You know, some shit down there too real. So I feel him once again. You know, so he probably like, man, it'll probably just make more sense to let GloRilla take over that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, let GloRilla go down there, perform, and do what it do, and that's what's going on, you know. And she gonna sell out this show, I'm pretty sure. I think what's the arena name? State Farm or the FedEx Farm. I don't know where they gonna do with it. But yeah, so yeah, GloRilla performing tomorrow. But yeah, CMG, they hard. You know, Yo Gotti signed a whole bunch of artists and made a whole bunch of millionaires. You know, he had ESTG, who already had money before the deal. You know, Big Boogie. You know, he getting them ships. You know what I'm saying? Black Youngster. You know, he been getting it, but he ain't getting it how it was when he first came in it. You know, well, he might be, but I don't think he is. But you know, salute that man. You got Black Youngster. You got he signed Z in there dough. You know, Z in there dough. He getting that dough. He on go. You know what I'm saying? He putting on for the New Dallas though. You know, I feel like Gotti probably might have signed Z in there dough because he kind of remind him of Young Dolph. You know, he missed with Young Dolph, the whole Young Dolph situation, and he feel like, you know, Z in there dough be talking the same talk, but you know, Z in there dough, he all about positivity. Everything he talk about is positive. It's about getting money and you know, uplifting the black community and trying to teach these young men, you know what I'm saying? It ain't all about killing, you know what I'm saying? It's about, you know what I'm saying, just running up them bands, you know? He like, if you pay attention to Z in there though, he talk a lot of real shit, you know? It ain't about all that spitting and glizzies and hitting with a stick and all that, you know? He about that, you know, this straight up uplifting and getting it type music, they get money music. That's what I like about them New Dallas dudes. And you know, Lil Migo, he's still a heavy count, you know, but Gotti don't push him like he pushed the rest of them, you know. But you know, Lil Migo, he hard. You know, he been getting it before he got signed with Gotti and Black Youngster. You got Block Boy JB, you know. You don't really see him much no more. But you know, he had the Drake co-sign. You know, Drake actually said that he was the one, it was his song, it was Look Alive. Like that hook, Look Alive, Look Alive, that song that Block Boy Block Boy JB did with Drake. There was actually supposed to be Drake's song all along, but he just passed it down to somebody that's from like his second hometown. Cause you know, Drake's dad is from down there. Drake's dad is from Memphis. So yeah, Drake just, you know what I'm saying, he showed some love. So when Drake said on that song, I used to run with CMG, you better believe it, he was really locked in with CMG, you know. He it was his people. You know, he wasn't signed with him, but it's his people. Cause you know, it's all like under the same umbrella. You know, Gotti was signed to Cash Money Records. Starlito was signed to Cash Money Records. And Drake was signed to Young Money Cash Money Records up under the Birdman umbrella. And not at the same time, you know, Drake wasn't signed under the same time as Gotti, you know, but you know, it's still, at one point in time, they were still like family, you know what I'm saying? Like they under the same family tree, you know, as you can see. But that's all I got for right now. I appreciate y'all for tapping back in to Tony 3 times. I'll get back at y'all in the next video. Peace.